Ladies and gentlemen, the next Prime Minister of Australia, Billy Snedden.
Tonight we commence a journey. Tonight we commence the journey that will restore Australia to its right course. To a future of prosperity, of achievement and of security for every Australian. The Labor experiment has been tried and it has failed. Through broken promises, sheer incompetence, the Labor Party has forfeited all right you gave it to shape Australia's future. The decision you make will determine our lives far beyond the next Parliament. It will determine the future of Australia for the rest of this century. Now it is for the Liberal and Country Party government to take up the responsibility of government and restore Australia to that right path. The choice is clear and the choice is sharp. Will we allow inflationary socialism to eat out the heart of Australia? Do we decide for an all-out attack on inflation? There can be no greater differences between two policies. There is only one government which will take the action now that Australia so urgently needs, and that is a Liberal Country Party government. We will cast aside the last 16 months of government error and broken promise. We'll climb out of the mire of crippling taxes, unbearable interest rates. Inflation is Labor's greatest failure. It's the highest rate for 20 years and going up. No amount of wishful thinking will convince the shopper or the shopkeeper that last March quarter's figures mean that inflation is going down, because it was the highest quarter for 20 years. No shopper or shopkeeper will believe that. Taxes are the highest in our history and are going up. Interest rates are the highest they are ever been. Are they going up? The government is desperately trying to prevent interest rates going even higher before Election Day on May 18th. Today we are in the middle of a severe credit squeeze. It's putting housing even further beyond the reach of ordinary Australians. For thousands of Australians wanting their house, the credit squeeze is preventing it. It is threatening employment. The threat that lies before Australia is stagflation of the kind that the United Kingdom is suffering from today. That's the economic mess that Labor has created. That's the mess we're going to clear up. In 1972, Labor made a promise they never intended to keep, a promise that they would not increase tax. They deceived us by using inflation to achieve exactly what they had promised not to do. Labor is using inflation to push every Australian taxpayer into higher and higher brackets. This year, Labor will collect $1,500 million more in personal income tax than they did last year. This is an increase of over 1/3. It is $200 per person as the average taxpayer. If tax rates are not cut heavily, then the burden on the average taxpayer by the end of the year will be $500 for the average taxpayer. $10 a week. What a savage infliction of tax upon the people of Australia. We will cut taxes. Look at the effect on the average wage earner. The average wage earner has had an increase in pay of 15% and prices have gone up at about the same rate, and his tax has increased over 30%. That's why there is this squeeze on everybody in the community. Because of prices and taxes, he's worse off than when Labor came to power. And that's the fact the people of Australia have to deal with. That is why we must beat inflation. And to defeat inflation, we must defeat the Labor government. While ministers in the Labor cabinet have been struggling between themselves as to who will spend the most, the people of Australia have been waiting for a plan from the Labor government to fight inflation. There is no plan from the government to fight inflation. The Labor government believes we can live with inflation at the rate it is. This is not true. Ask the worried housewife trying to beat back the onslaught of prices. It is not true we can live with inflation. Ask the young couple condemned to be tenants for many more years because of inflation and high interest rates. It is not true. It is not true we can live with inflation. Ask the head of the household struggling to meet increased interest rates on the home loan. It is not true. Ask the retired person on superannuation or life savings who realises that they're being crippled permanently by inflation. It is not true. Ask the small businessman trying to plan ahead or to keep his production of goods going to fill those gaps on the stores where the shortages are in the shops. He doesn't believe it's true. And it's not true either if you ask the public servant who can see allocations from the budget for schools or hospitals or roads being eaten into by inflation, with inflation at 14% and building costs at 20%. No one can live with this inflation except for the smart operators, the speculators and the Labor government. The Liberal and Country Party government has We have a clear and carefully developed plan. We already have the support of 4 of the states. In reducing the rate of growth of government spending, there will be hard decisions to take. But we will face them as we know we must and as we know you realise we must. We will face those hard decisions. We will not follow Labor's spendthrift policies or engage in a bidding match. And this is what we will do. All ministers will examine all spending to see where savings can be made. We will give priority to social welfare programs. I will call an immediate meeting of all the premiers to discuss the removal of duplication and waste and how we can lower the total government spending. We'll call a national conference of unions, of employers and of the state governments to establish a voluntary framework for price and income restraint. We will reduce the rate of growth of government spending in the budget in August. We will cut tax by $600 million. This tax cut is part of our overall economic package, and it is most important that we do it for the sake of the Australian people who otherwise would see an increasing proportion of their pay going into the Commonwealth Treasury and deprive them of all incentive they have to work. We believe the program will be successful, but I want there to be clear understanding of this, that even though we believe it will be successful, we will be prepared to institute a 90-day freeze on incomes and prices in cooperation with the states. Inflation is an evil in the deepest sense. It is a recipe for selfishness and stagnation. We must all cooperate to defeat it. We have published our program. It will be clear and available to everybody to understand. What that program does is to bind a Liberal Country Party government in office. I announce it to bind us all. We will slacken the rate of growth of spending overall. 4 areas will have priority: health and housing, social welfare and urban improvement. There we will actually spend more money next year than was spent last year, but we will slacken the rate of growth, because if we didn't, we would find extreme inflationary pressures building up, which would only erode the actual amount of money spent. As everybody can understand, if $100 million is to be allocated and inflation rips off 20% of it, there is only $80 million spent in real terms. The Labor Party has tried to force on us a compulsory and centralised health plan. We will retain the voluntary health insurance program. And we will extend it significantly to cover the 8% at present uncovered. What we will do is to improve the subsidised health scheme, which operates to the benefit of low-income earners. Pensioners will receive a new deal in medical services. Every pensioner at present covered by the pensioner medical scheme, pensioner medical service, will in future be eligible for the subsidised health scheme, and the government will pay the insurance and will also pay that part normally paid by the patient. And another thing for pensioners is that in future they won't be constrained to go to public hospitals, outpatient clinics for x-rays and other like services. In the social welfare field, our proposals recognise that inflation is now the principal cause of injustice in Australia. This is another compelling reason for our attack on inflation. That is to relieve the hardship for the aged and the poor and the infirm. and all other people on fixed incomes. All pensions and benefits will be automatically adjusted every half year to take account of living standards. The first increase, which will be not less than the Consumer Price Index, will be introduced immediately the new Parliament sits with a Liberal Country Party government. The basis for the automatic adjustment will be selected when we receive the Henderson report, expected in November this year. The means test for men and women over 65 will be abolished by the end of 1975. There will be other initiatives as the economy improves and we're able to do them. In education, we find inflation is also the greatest enemy to expenditure on education, as it cuts down the capacity for real spending of money sums put on the budget allocations. We will maintain the financial commitments of the Carmel report. During the 3-year parliamentary term, we'll coordinate preschool education and childcare. We will provide loans and grants to help expand this sector of education in cooperation with parents and community groups and state and local government. The Liberal and Country parties believe that political power should be decentralised. We believe that decisions which affect local communities and the way in which they live should be taken by the people responsible at the level where it affects people directly. Our policies on the cities and regional growth are a striking example. State and local governments are the best authorities to make decisions on land release, regional planning and regional facilities. We will not confront and compete with them as the Labor Party has done. Here again, inflation has been at work. Labor's fine words have not been matched by any real improvements in the cities and the suburbs. We will continue current programs already approved which help to increase the supply of serviced land. We will achieve an even greater release of serviced land to get rid of the artificial shortage which is now driving up the price. Australia faces, in the words of the Housing Industry Association, and I quote their words, Australia faces a crisis in housing not paralleled since the immediate post-war period. Approvals and commencements have fallen drastically. Interest rates are at an all-time high, and housing and land costs have soared. Shortage of serviced land, of materials and of labour have reached alarming proportions. The deposit gap has become a gulf. The government has failed completely in housing. Labor's scheme for tax deductions on mortgage interest will not compensate for the rise in interest rates they have produced. Yet they said they would reduce interest rates, but they've increased them by well over 2% in the first 9 months of government. We will restructure home mortgage repayments so that there's a lesser amount paid in the early years and more in the later years to take the burden of young families. It so happens that's a coat we wore ages ago and has been pinched for the Prime Minister's policy speech last night. We will retain and extend to encourage savings and reduce the deposit gap the home savings grants legislation. We will remove the age limit, and single people will be eligible for half the benefit, and we will remove upwards, realistically, the level of the true cost of building. It will be necessary for a Liberal Country Party government to play its part in providing for tax relief if unions and employers are to be asked to moderate their wage and price claims. Otherwise, Australia faces a future of continuing and accelerating inflation, even after excess demand is removed. Rising taxation encourages avoidance of tax and it discourages all productivity. We will give personal income tax relief of $600 million in the next budget. Even with reduced inflation, there will still be a substantial increase in government revenue of well over $1,500 million even after our $600 million tax relief. With those sort of figures, could I have dared come before you and not say that we will cut tax? How can any other party say it will not, when even with the $600 taken off, revenues will increase by well over $1,500 million. There will be increased expenditures, but in our budget we will transform last year's highly inflationary deficit into a domestic surplus. We will have very limited scope. We will have very limited scope for new initiatives. Local government is the closest to all people. It provides services at local level that have a marked influence on the way of life of the people in that community. We are convinced of the urgent need to provide more funds for all local governments so that they can answer the requests for services which are made of them and which they provide. Therefore, we propose an initial 3-year program of grants to local government bodies made through the states, which will be a $100 million program over 3 years. This money will provide a guaranteed additional source of revenue for all municipalities, and the remainder will be distributed through grants commission type bodies to be established by the state, which will take into account the needs of the different municipalities and their rating capacities. Within the limited scope we have, we are remembering that the impact of inflation bites very deeply upon the pensioner. We will immediately increase the supplementary assistance to single and married pensioner couples paying rent from $4 to $6. We will provide a supplementary child endowment of $5 weekly for handicapped children unable to be accommodated in approved homes. The maternity allowance will be doubled to $60 for the first child, and the orphan's allowance will be doubled. In estate duty, there is another urgent matter. As Treasurer in 1972, I doubled the exemptions. But since then, Labor's inflation rate has resulted in property values going up 20% a year and making it unreal compared to 1974. Therefore, in the next budget, we will double the exemptions when it goes to a close relative and increase the exemptions in all other cases. The exemption will then, for close relatives, be $80,000. We believe it's important to encourage people to save for their own future and to develop Australia. We will therefore retain the tax deduction for life insurance and superannuation. The Labor Party has run down our fences. It's reduced the morale of our armed forces in a way never known before. It's weakened our alliances. It's publicly abused our allies. They have shown non-cooperation, narrow nationalism, and an arrogant vanity. The Liberal and Country Party government will ensure that the effectiveness and independence of Australia's defence policies will be backed up by adequate defence forces. We will restore the ANZUS alliance. We will encourage a continuing American presence. We will encourage a continuing American presence in Asia, Pacific, and the Indian Ocean. we will consult with our partners in the five-power agreement as to the best form of Australian contribution. In government, we will provide full and satisfying employment. We will restore the authority of the Arbitration Commission. This community should no longer be subject to the withdrawal of goods and services. Workmen should no longer be denied wages to satisfy the search for power of individual union leaders. We will give the states a guaranteed share of income tax revenues so they can carry out their responsibilities fully and properly. We will bring in a new era of cooperative federalism. We will limit the growth of the public service to not exceed the growth of the workforce. It will no longer be used as a pace setter in wages and conditions across the whole of the economy. We will end Labor's war on the countryman. It's vital that the rural industries be successful economically because of the impact it has across the whole economy and the success of the urban dweller. We will therefore, we will restore the superphosphate bounty in order to make a contribution to productivity. We are strongly committed to the active advancement of the rights of women so that their role and contribution is acknowledged and their opportunities are equal. We will take direct action in the Public Service Board and the Department of Labor to sweep away the obstacles and the discriminations in the public sector, and so far as we're able to do it in the private sector as well. We will maintain and extend the repatriation system, acknowledging the particular nature of war-caused injury. The crisis which caused this election had been building up for many months as Labor applied socialist theories and policies to the economy, to the society and to our foreign relations, for which they had no authority from the Australian people. But the flashpoint was a deal done in secret by Mr Whitlam to obtain the Labor control of the Senate by offering a diplomatic job to his own party's greatest political enemy, the Whitlam-Gare affair. Not only was he found out, he was caught out in an attempt to cover up after the scheme was brought to the light of day. The Liberal and country parties offer Australia an Australia built on respect for the individual, on his or her dignity and freedom, on their right to work hard if they wish, to take responsibility and to be rewarded for it. The success of the individual is the success of the community. We want a big, tolerant, outward-looking Australia. We offer fresh action. We offer new initiatives, ideas and ideals. The choice which is now before you is between two very different ways of life. Labor has failed Australia. You cannot afford them any longer. Your support is needed for a Liberal country party government to return Australia to its right course. Think again for Australia.